Hey everyone, welcome to today's session. In previous session, we explored the MCP with the VS Code using the chatbot experience to customize our model. If you still remember, in the last session, we created a measure called total cost under the measure table, and the logic is follow the best practice or as a standard. And it successfully create this measure into this table, but there's a catch, like I mentioned in the last time. In order to see this change, you need to reopen your sales report, Power BI desktop. So what happened is you open the VS Code chatbot experience, you ask it to customize your model, and then it will change your text space. After that, it is required that for you to reopen the Power BI desktop to see the changes. Looks like this journey is a little bit long and also awkward. You make a change to the file, but you need to reopen the Power BI desktop. So why is that? Let's open a new chart. The reason is that even you're looking at the same thing, right now I'm looking at this Power BI report model through the code base, which is a bunch of folder project format, they either in the JSON or TMDL format. I'm also viewing the report through the Power BI instance, this report in opening the Power BI desktop. So even they're looking at the same thing, but there's a discrepancy between them. So any change goes into those files will be a permanent mark to change to a report. But any change to this Power BI desktop instance is actually just into your PC's memories. To be more explicit, RAM. So it's a short-term memory. The reason is that if I change anything here, you won't see the change through your text space. Why is that? Because those changes only captured through your computer RAM, random access memory. It's not actually into the storage. So those kind of files actually in the storage memory, which means if I change something, for example, this actual cells, I change that to actual cells. I hit enter. You can see here it's being updated to whatever I need over here, right? So this is the actual cells that we just changed. But this change is not captured through this code base for whatever reason, right? The reason is that you didn't hit the save button. Even you can see that through the Power BI instance is still in your RAM, which is RAM, not in your storage. In order to have the change burned into your storage, you need to hit the save button. This is where this instance becomes a permanent mark to your text-based files. So if I hit save, it will see the changes. Since you already know that, so I won't save this one. I will just revert this back to the original dates. So now everything back to square one. Now let's talk about different connection types. So last time when we connect to your code base using this chatbot to customize, that's the reason I need to reopen my Power BI desktop to see those changes. This time we're going to use a different way to connect to your model to make customization, and more surprisingly, we're going to make that as a live thing, which means through this chat, if I require the LLM to make a change, the change will be lively feedback to my Power BI desktop instance. In order to do that, you need to have your prompt to be very precise and very explicit, directional. So here, I'm gonna say live connect to sales report open in Power BI desktop. So here I'm asking this LLM to fire a connection with the report that opened in my Power BI desktop. So the thinking process of this agent will be first it read through my user prompt in conjunction with the MCP prompt that we installed. In the MCP prompt, it will have this document, which is readme instructions, and it should be able to sense that my connection request is relating to this first type of connection, which means my connection is a live connection to a Power BI instance that is open in my PC's RAM. Instead of this text file based connection, what the chat experience is that you can actually inspect their thinking process, and you can evaluate and see if something goes sideways. And let's just read that. The user wants to live connect to the sales report opening Power BI desktop, and it's like live connection, understand user intent. So current running, I think this is the right analysis, and looking for the protocol, which is the MCP, and they're doing that, helping the connection, your research, now establish live connection, and this is great. So no matter what it infer your intention, you need to see those kind of keywords. For example, the desktop instance running on the port. So this is all saying that The connection type right now is the first one, which is live connection, and the live connection being established and active connection. So this is great. Okay, let's just see if the connection is really the method one, which is for desktop. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the question about, can you update the measure into a format that I want? For example, I want to use the underscore, which is the snake method. Let's do that. Now update all my measures on the measure table following below format. I'm going to give an example actual cells to actual cells. So it's more like a camel 2 and a snake. Fire the command. So how to evaluate that the AI is doing the right connection? If this is successful, it should ask me about operation request, ask for my approval. Yeah, it did ask that. If I prove that, it should not touch my code base. Instead, it should touch the in-memory report, which is the sales report now that is opened through this Power BI desktop. And I should see the live change of those measures into the underscore format. Hit submit. Now you can see there's a loading bar actually coming up here, and everything here instantly becoming underscore with the format I want. And my code base has changed nothing, because like I mentioned before, this type of connection is customizing your model through desktop, and desktop connection is actually in-memory connection. You see the changes instantly because it's in the RAM, easy to access, quick. But the problem is that those kind of changes only going to feed back to your code base until you hit the save button. So the trick here is use the prompt command based on your situation. If your situation is like, I know I'm gonna change the text from X to Y, I don't need to open the Power BI desktop, then use the third method. It's better follow this exact format prompt or just remember those keywords. So if you want to use the third method, you should say open something folder from which directory. The opposite, if you don't see the changes because you are actively lively editing your model and you need sales report without closing, then you should use the fifth method. Make sure your connection type through each of the chat session is been set up for this live connection. I didn't use this connect to the desktop because my past experience that the AI can incorrectly infer your intention. In that way, it's actually using this folder-based connection, which is wrong. So that's why in my first prompt, when I say I have some actual context, for example, instead of say connect, I say live connect. You can add more things here. I'm say opened. All my intention is to grab the attention of the LLM to force it to think about my request is relating to the first type of connection because I need to see the change live is syncing properly without any latencies. Remember, whenever you use AI, context is always the most important thing that you should be customizing and understanding. No matter how you chat over here, chat here 100 times, get a wrong answer, it's better just going back to this README, see what's the author's instruction, because those are the critical things that you need to understand before generate a valuable output. So that's today's session. Hope you enjoyed. See you guys in the next one.